Hello, thank you so much for inviting me here. And I know congrats on this festival. And first of all, congrats to all the winners last night. Because it's usually the other way around, like you have the conferences and then the gala at the end of it. But we saw all the winners last night, and there was some pretty great work. Some of it I knew it from Golden Drum. And congrats for this thing. I love it, and the trophy is really nice. I'm just gonna stay very far away from it. I'm afraid I'm gonna trip. And I was asked to go fast. Apparently, we're a bit ahead of schedule, so I'm gonna go fast. Hello. This is a cactus, accidentally. This is how I start my presentations all the time. It's just a coincidence that it happens to be in the Cactus Festival. So, I'm Mihnea from Pitești. I mean, if you take Romania, this is Pitești. It's like that far away from Bucharest. If you were to take it, I mean, Pitești is probably closer to Belgrade than Bucharest is. And this is what it actually looks like a communist cupcake. That right there in the middle, that little fountain, that's like one of Pitești's major attractions. It's called the Zodiac Fountain. Because, yeah, I don't know, Romanians are very keen on their zodiac. I don't know, that's how I grew up. It's like the first question is like, what's your name? The second question is like, what's your zodiac sign? So, you know, happily embrace what you cannot avoid, right? But anyway, at 19, I went into advertising in Bucharest. Or, you know, I was like a little unicorn full of wonder and desires. I just wanted to change the world. This was the thing for me. But what I discovered was called advertising. Because, I don't know, probably a lot of us were accustomed to these type of problems. You know, it's never our fault. It's always somebody else. I didn't get along with the director. The client doesn't get it. We don't have the budget. I was sick. My hamster died. Really, that's actually an excuse I've heard. I mean, these guys had more problems than Jay-Z. But how advertising taught me is when you hate something, you change that something. So I left Romania because while I was 19 and in Leo Burnett, everybody was telling me why the fuck don't you leave? You're young. Get the fuck out of here. Go to those amazing countries where they do amazing stuff. Don't just die here. Romania is for idiots. All right, I did. I left Romania. I was 20 years old. I lived and worked in all these cities for 7 years. And in 2013, the beginning, I went back. Why did I go? Obviously, because I was really passionate about what I was doing. I was in business school, though. I was supposed to go to Harvard Business, but I really wanted to go to do advertising. And I said, okay, I'm a college dropout. I dropped everything. I said, okay, I'm going to go into advertising. I was really passionate about to see okay, how come these guys do all these amazing stuff, and us in Romania, we just sit there and go we'll never be as good as them. Sucks. And just, take a bath in our own self-loathing. So I was searching for obviously the secret, the magic potion, the recipe. Yeah, because I went to all these places and all the time I was like, how come you guys are so great and we are not? Well, this will be kind of a journey into, the things I've discovered through, 12 years of advertising. Because if there's one thing in advertising, you can never rely on a recipe. There is no such thing. I'm going to touch point on that a bit later. It's only personal experiences, given it's such a subjective industry, and it's only our personal experiences and stories that we can share and actually exchange and learn things from. Let's start with the beginning, right? Motivation and ideas. These are the foundation of whatever the hell it is that we're doing every day at work, right? First of all, motivation. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever makes you wake up in the morning. Yeah, hit that iPhone and get up and go to work. And the thing is, it's kind of different, right? It's different for everyone. People, some people want to be rich, some people want to make their parents happy, some people just want to save baby seals, I don't know, solve world hunger, and so on. In advertising, a lot of people want to win awards. So anyway, it's different for everyone, and you cannot judge a person by what motivates that person to do what he does, or she does. The thing with awards, and it's funny because, okay, I know we're in an award festival. Awards are great. I love awards. It's just that if you wake up in the morning to win awards, you're going to win them. I don't know if you've seen this episode in Family Guy when Willie Coyote finally fucking catches Beep Beep, and he's happy for like 10 minutes. And then, he becomes an alcoholic, eventually commits suicide. Because it's kind of the same, okay, I want a con. I want to win a con. You win it. Then what? I want to win 2 con. You win 2 con. I want to win a Grand Prix. You win a Grand Prix. You win every fucking award in the universe. What's next? What are you going to do then? Because when motivation becomes something materialistic, when motivation becomes the reward, it's just going to end. You're going to run out of it. What are you going to do when you win everything? When you win every business? When you take shower, you make soup out of money? What's going to happen then? You're going to go to space, to Mars? I don't know. So this is a really simple thing, like motivation shouldn't be about the reward. This is something that I've been doing, and I'm trying to say further through my teams. Try to be better today than you were yesterday, okay? Like, if you had an idea or something, like, try to come up with a better idea today. If you did an idea yesterday, try to, take it one little step further today, and tomorrow, try to do it better than you did it today. Because this way, your motivation will never end, right? And this is the type of thing you need to come up with, right, the blood of our business, and pretty much everything there is out there. Like, I think this world lives off ideas. Ideas. You've probably heard this, right? An idea can change the world, the power of an idea. No, that's not true. An idea is the easiest thing to kill, really. Like, daily, I kill around 40 to 50 ideas. A lot of them mine, right? Because here's the thing, everybody has ideas. Cab drivers have ideas. Cab drivers have amazing ideas. Have you ever talked to cab drivers? Like, what they would do if they had to sell this beer? You'd be amazed. My grandma has ideas. My parents have ideas. Everybody has ideas. Every client has ideas. Everyone. But if you don't do it, it's 0. Doesn't matter. If you don't do it right, it's 0. Yeah, I had this amazing idea and I did this. Nobody's going to notice it. It's just going to go down in history. It's going to die. It's going to disappear. And here's the thing. Because, this wonderful technology allows us so many nowadays that advertising and everything that's complementary to it is not about just having ideas. It's about what you do with the ideas you have, right? So it's not about an idea that can change the world, but an idea you make, that you put it out there, you create it. That's what can change the world. So now we're going into the presentation. So, people, doing is better than thinking. The power of doing, right? That's my spirit animal, Gary. You see, it's like, this doesn't mean that you should do things without thinking. Like, I'm just going to jump off the balcony, see what happens. Woo, crazy. No, it's all about knowing when to stop thinking and to actually start doing it. It's kind of interesting, like coming back in Romania after, 10 years, no, 8 years, I still found the same people, like seniors, like multi-respected, awarded, amazing advertisers, who I like to call prima donnas, who are like, I just gave an idea. That was my job. Like, I don't know, fuck this guy. It was his job to sell it. It was this guy's job to film it. It was this guy's job to do whatever, and da 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 da. No, it wasn't. It was your all guy's job to fucking do that idea, to make it happen. It was your responsibility to take that idea from zero to hero. And this is a thing that still, like even now in 2016, many people don't understand. You think everything that you do depends on others, and it doesn't. It depends on you. It's just easier to find excuses for your failures and just like throw it all over the place. So how to do more amazing things, right? Because this is like, hey. Right, there's no recipe, like I said before. Because you see, like, it's kind of funny, in advertising we're trying to do every day something that hasn't been done before. Ironically, we're all searching for a recipe, and a recipe stands for what? Getting the same thing over and over and over again. So why would there ever be a recipe? A recipe is for tacos. If you want to do tacos, yeah, sure. But not advertising. There's no recipe, it's just personal experiences and advice, like paid for in like blood, sweat, and tears. Like how Bruno was saying in the morning. Imagine that process. You know how that idea would have gone down in Romania? We have this idea, wow, it's amazing, cool, wow, great. We're not gonna do it. Ah, okay, fucking client, fucking assholes, fucking... And then 10 years ago, 10 years after, somebody would do it and they would all just sit in a bar and it's like, I thought about that too, 10 years ago. I didn't do anything because, you know, this country sucks and it's horrible. That's sad. The thing is, when I went out of Romania, I kind of had this mindset. I was 19 and I lived a year and a half among like the country's best. And I was kind of forced into thinking like that. I went to Germany and I was like, I'm cool. And I knew better than anyone. And that was a really wrong thing to do. And the moment I started doing the things I was actually thinking about, together with my colleagues, together with my teachers and so on, and my creative directors, that's when I realized what I was really capable of. For example, we're not going to see examples of like big lucrative campaigns, regional, huge clients that we do on a daily basis because that's basically paying for our salaries. But I want to show you things that we did with like Eastern European style, you know, you have a limited resources, limited, you know, enthusiasm. And you just gotta like try to somehow make it work. And when it turns out the way you want it to, it's more rewarding than any project you would do if you had like 100 million euros falling onto your lap all of a sudden like this. This is something we did when we were in London. It was 2008. My team partner and I, we were on the tube, and we saw this free newspaper. There was like this little small article there saying like, American satellite coming back to Earth, crashing back to Earth. What? So apparently Americans had launched a satellite that broke down. And it would go back into the atmosphere of the Earth. And of course, they couldn't just let it, you know, like crash somewhere because it would have made a hole of like 2 football fields. So they said, okay, we're gonna wait for it to just go in the sky and then just gonna fucking fire rockets at it and destroy it. But before they did that, this was the interesting thing. You would see it on the sky of Europe, just like a falling star. You would just see like, on this Thursday at exactly 6:35 p.m. So my team partner and I, we were like, okay, if you see a falling star, you can make a wish. Like, that's the general thing. But if you see a falling satellite, nobody has ever said, like, how many wishes you can make. So, yeah, why not just go out in the world, on the streets, and ask people, you know, with Post-its, make as many wishes as you can, we're gonna collect it in a box. Open the box anonymously, you know, when the satellite passes by, and we're gonna read it. And of course, it was only like 2 of us, and then we went to the rest of our like group. Eventually, we got like 15 people in, and for 2 days, we went in London, like in the, I don't know, like Piccadilly Square, Leicester Square, and so on. And we just went to people like, hey, 3 wishes. We looked like idiots, but anyway, people stopped and like talked to us, like, what are you doing here? And we explained the whole thing. And for like 2-3 days, no, 2 days actually, we got like 500-600 wishes in close to like 8 languages. And what's really interesting is that we opened the box and we expected to see, I want to have sex with Christina Aguilera. I want to be rich. You know, the usual thing. This is one of the wishes you got. And then this is kind of like a, I don't know, best of. This is something we chose from what we got there. Actually, one of them was to become a virgin again. Who the fuck wants that? Anyway, there's another one, to be white. The whole thing is that this was something that didn't cost anything. It was just a stupid experiment. And both of us, we were scared shitless of like just talking to random people in public. When we said we'd do it, my soul went like, I was too shy to go and ask a person what time it was. So we said we'd do it, we did it. At the end of this whole thing, and reading after all these things, like I really didn't know I could do that. I had no idea. I just forced myself to do it and said, okay, what's the worst that can happen? And it was an interesting, but there was no purpose, right? There was no, because I had friends in Romania who was like, but why did you do this for? It was like for a client? You're like doing something for awards? No. We just did it because it seemed like a nice and interesting thing to do. And we found out a lot of things. People are cool, you know? Like even those strangers, of course, first of all, we kind of live in the bubble. We think that people like what we like and think how we think. That's not true. Second, we think like, people are way more approachable than you'd ever think. Like everybody would listen to you if you have the right thing to say. And everybody would join to whatever the hell it is that you want them to do if you have the right way to ask. And it was kind of an interesting experiment that afterwards it kind of helped me and all of us realize that, okay, we started doing like more public things, and we did a lot of weird experiments after that. The thing is that I think it's the best time to be in advertising. Fuck it, it's the best time to be alive. Like you have all these opportunities. You know, like if you just choose to see the good side of everything, you know, and you open the internet or Facebook, and you don't see all the, we're going to hell, this world is going to shit. If you just, you know, see the positive side of it, we have all the means to do whatever we want and whatever mark we want to leave in this world on our own. There is no such thing as I didn't know how, because there were, as I was growing up, and those were the excuses I was always using, like, but I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do it. I actually have a colleague who learned how to play the ukulele in half a day on YouTube, like YouTube lessons, just to appear in a film that we used in a pitch, and we won the client. There is no such thing as I don't know how. Like you can, you know, like you can do things with your phone. You know, you can film a pigeon with your phone, and it looks 10 times better than probably your parents' wedding video. You know, and it's amazing. These times are great. Like we gotta take advantage of this. And whenever you have ideas, like keep doing them. It doesn't matter. You don't need random is good. You don't need a purpose. You don't need and time, there's always time. Because trust me, as much as it takes you to do one thing that you thought of, it's equal to drinking 3 beers and you know, at the end of the night, realize that that was nothing special at all. And keep on doing stuff, like anything you believe in, like truly believe in. Like it's a thing, even if it's, you know, some people disagree with it. Like if you believe in it, just go ahead and do it. It doesn't matter. It might not turn out like Spielberg material in the first time you do it. You know, it's always quantity, and then quality will come. Because everybody kind of, you know, we have a limited resources, limited time. We gotta go for the philosopher's stones. You will never find it because you will always go like this. You know, the moment you're like, okay, fuck it, let's do it for the pleasure of it. Tomorrow is gonna be better. Then in time, quality will come. So, this is a photo from Google Earth. Like, you can see it any time you want, right? It's there. You know what this is? This is actually the Ukrainian-Romanian border, right? The more foresty ones, that's Ukraine. So, I have a thing with, we're really busy, but still my colleagues keep on coming with like social ideas. And I tend to, you know, dismiss those ideas unless they work and they don't cost anything. So, you know, it's like sometimes your creatives come like with a, I want to solve world hunger with this idea. Like, dude, you're in Romania. Like, you really want to solve world hunger like from Romania? Like, look, in Romania we have so many problems. Like, if you want to do something good with what you're doing every day, like, look in your own backyard. This is actually one of the biggest problems in Romania right now. Like, politicians just sell the country by just like this, and nobody's doing anything to stop that. And, you know, people try to like tie themselves to the trees and so on, but no, nothing worked. So the only logical thing to do would be reforestation. Okay, gather volunteers, let's plant trees, let's, hey, you know. And the thing happened that a colleague from strategy, her best friend, owns the biggest NGO in Romania for reforestation. And she came to our colleague, like, hey, can you please help me with some flyers? I'm trying to attract students and young people to come to like help me plant a lot of trees. And the strategy colleague like came to us like, guys, I think we can do something better than this. Of course, the GM was like, you're never in your fucking life gonna work on something pro bono. We have shit to do, da 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 da. But the guys had a really cool idea, like really simple. And we just did it under the radar. Nobody from like management knew that anyone was actually working on this. And this is something that just started, and it will go on hopefully forever. This is like a case study of sound, 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 sound.
Very few large areas of natural forests remain in the European region, and much of what does is in Romania. It would seem absolutely critical that they are managed sustainably.
There is no guarantee that trees will be replanted here, that there will ever be a forest here again.
Romania's forests are disappearing. Corruption and the lack of a strict set of environmental laws make the situation even worse. The only solution right now is massive reforestation through volunteering. Problem is, Romania has the lowest rate of volunteers in Europe because young people here are more interested in their future and getting the right job. So Plantum Fapta Bune, the biggest reforestation NGO in Romania, decided to turn volunteering into something that can help anyone in their career. Introducing Green Endorsement, the first volunteering certificate officially recognized by employers. First, we got 30 of the largest and most desirable employers in Romania to recognize the certificate. Then, we launched Green Endorsement on the biggest professional networks and job portals in the country. And
Thank you. The funny thing is that when this, okay, like not a lot of people believed in it and were like, no, stop wasting time on these like bullshit pro bono thing. But it was not a bullshit pro bono thing. It was a solution that would have helped. So for 7 months, the team, and I mean us, like the creative team, the accounts, like everybody was like, you know, like not putting hours in their timesheets, talking to every client they knew, to every person from other agency that could get us in front of the HR department of our competitors, basically. And we just went. We had around 150 meetings. And we just went like, hello, so we have this project. We just need you to, you know, this is the project. We need to participate in the job fairs and so on. And this was just the first flight. Now it's going to go over again in November. And then a lot of other NGOs are going to join in, especially like blood donation. It's gonna become a thing in the resume, like whatever good you do, that kind of proves a set of skills, you know, that people actually want in their companies. They're going to join in. And the interesting thing is that after this thing was launched, some kind of an institution that was handling European funds wrote to us like really angrily, like, how dare you? What? We've had this idea and we've been trying to get funds from the European Union for the past 2 years, and you guys just do it like this without, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, nobody knew about what you were doing. And this is not about who stole ideas or what. This is happening. Let's all join together, forces. We're not trying to get ownership over it. We're trying to actually fucking do something. And then they joined. They were like, oh, really? You know, it's the typical, like, it's my idea type of thing. And now it's a bunch of people like trying to make it better. Hopefully it will never end. Still, keep doing stuff no matter what people say. So, I present to you Felipe and Tammy. They're a couple of friends of us from New York. And they opened a restaurant. They actually used, in New York, they actually used all their savings money. They were both working in advertising. They quit their jobs and they opened a restaurant. Opening a restaurant in New York City is kind of like playing with a rattlesnake. It's like, hey. Because there are 50,000 restaurants in New York City. If you open a restaurant and if you don't get at least 4 stars from New York Times, you can just close it down. And they opened it in Soho. And they were scared shitless. They were waiting for the New York Times to come and review it. We were there having dinner. The food was amazing. It was like a Brazilian, Colombian fusion. And it was a fancy place, you know, right? Like, you could not have menus with like photos, like in the Chinese noodle place, right? But you had no idea what the food was, because like pão de queijo and like all kind of weird like names in Portuguese. But what we noticed is that every time people were getting their food on their plate, they would like take a photo of it and Instagram it. I'm at this new place called Komodo and so on. And we were like, what if we do like a Komodo menu on Instagram, right? Like, we just put a hashtag and people can just, you know, use this hashtag, and then later on when you come, you can just check the Komodo menu hashtag on Instagram and see what the plates actually look like, and you go, this. So we did that. We talked to our friends. It cost them like exactly $6 to reprint all the menus in the restaurant with the hashtag down. And we made a film about it. We put it on the internet on Monday night. On Tuesday morning, this is kind of what happened.
This morning, a lot of things to get to, beginning with Instagram. And if you're on there and you're in a New York restaurant...
Thank you. Nobody wanted to win an award. Nobody wanted to solve a brief. I mean, this was actually, I was just about to leave New York in 2 weeks, and my friends, they were going freelance, and we just, why not? It's not about, you know, the limitations you have, you know, it's about the opportunities you have and who you can help and what you can do. on your own. So that's why, like, you gotta, you know, be on the lookout for what you could solve around you. The funny thing is, like, while we were still in the agency, we were in 360i in New York, which is like a huge, really good digital agency. And we wanted to make it bigger for them. It's like, hey guys, this idea doesn't cost anything. We want to help our restaurant. And the strategy guy, who's like an extremely smart guy, but maybe, you know, sometimes too smart for his own good. He was like, yeah, but I mean, what are you gonna do if somebody like just takes a photo of a puke and just goes hashtag Komodo menu? You cannot manage a hashtag. It's just gonna go wild. You know, what if somebody photographs McDonald's and puts Komodo menu? You're gonna destroy that guy's brand. It's gonna go like, you cannot control it. And he was right. People did that. People were like from Mumbai, they were photographing the food in their own restaurants and putting Komodo menu just because it was trendy in the news. So people, you know, find out shit about their own restaurant. Nobody cared, you know, like nobody cared. Sometimes, like, you know, practice beats like the sense thought, the rational thought, because you can never actually predict what's going to happen. It's going to turn. Sometimes it might turn like really bad. Sometimes it might turn really good. This was the latter, right? So New York Times came to the restaurant and they were like, "Hey, you're the guys with the Instagram menu, right?" I mean, their food was amazing anyway, so they got like 4.8 stars. And yeah, they're still going, and now they've expanded into a lot of things. And it was a nice thing. Again, no matter the results, keep doing things. What? Yeah, like, yeah, I know. You're like the chess thing. Okay, so keep doing things no matter the results, right? Because this is basically the monster, you know, that you keep doing like, no, I'm not going to do it, I'm afraid what's going to happen. But take a, you know, an outside view at it. What's the worst that can happen in 2016? Like, really, this is really the worst that can happen. And okay, let's say upset some bloggers. It's the worst thing, you know, because it's humans that you don't want to upset. But then you upset the blogger. Have you ever upset the blogger? Has anybody upset bloggers before through what they did? I've done. I've upset a lot of bloggers. But anyway, they're like, ah, fuck, this sucks. How dare they? How dare? Oh, look, a cute butterfly. This is interesting. Because the attention span in the internet age lasts maximum 24 hours, right? So it's really not such a big deal. The fear of the results should never stop you from doing what you really want to do. And this is probably the most important thing. Don't you ever leave an idea you love unmade. This is going to come back and haunt you. It's really like kicking your motivation in the balls. It hurts. It doesn't hurt when you don't do it. It hurts when you see somebody else doing it. And that's why this is a thing, like a rule that I stole from design. It goes the 5 days rule. If you don't do something in 5 days, you shouldn't, you know, be angry that somebody else does it. In advertising, it's kind of hard to actually do something in 5 days. But if you don't do something about it, if you don't start the process, you should not sit alone at a table 5 years later, go like, I thought about this too, but you should not allow yourself to be frustrated. Go on, go on, go on. Then this happened. This is the last case, I promise. Okay. Bernie Sanders, candidate to the presidential elections, out of all the countries in the world, out of all the capitals in the world, you know, he said this. So, you know, the Romania was like, we reacted exactly like how everybody in Romania would react. Like half of them would, like, the national spirit would like, how dares he? How dares he? What? Are we some kind of a third world country? Yeah. And then the other half just started making fun of it, but nothing like practical. And we were like in the agency, you know, like this March, we were like in between briefs, like, really? Like, he just said Bucharest in the tweet. Bucharest was running for European capital of culture. Like, really? Like, come on, let's just fucking do something about it. So then you like get like organized, you know, sometimes it's great to have like an amazing team that you know, that you go to, and so on, the whole agency. But when you're like in a really big corporate agency, then you gotta find out the people that you work with the best. And you go to them and you just do it, and then it's much easier to present something like, this is it, than a PowerPoint. So this is what we did.
How would you react if this is the publicity your city gets?
Yeah. Thank you. This was a very nice thing, but again, like, okay, I know it's not like the lucrative thing, like, hey, will it help grow my business? I'm not having that type of presentation now. It's just like how many things you can actually do if you're really keen on whatever it is that you're doing. So just to close up this whole thing, a small essential mix, because we've talked about a lot of random things. I hope they, just the red line. First of all, motivation shouldn't be about the reward. It should be like, what are you gonna do that makes you want to wake up the next day? You will learn way more from doing than from thinking. It's just that when you think about it, you think you know how you do it. But when you actually do it, like, there's like a million problems just coming up, and you go like, oh, fuck. How am I going to do it? Like, doing actually makes you spontaneous, cerebral, thinking on your feet. How am I going to deal with this? You actually have to solve problems real time, because you need to do it the way you want it to do it. Don't fear the results, really. Like, I've noticed some hands from like clients, in the room. Like, please don't fear the results. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, really. And don't leave any idea you love, client or agency or student or client, anybody. Like, this should be punishable, Like in creative industries, like you should just be, like be forced to watch, I don't know, some like really stupid music video for 10 hours non-stop, Like if you ever leave an idea you love unmade, that's a crime. And actually, like there's like the may you live long and prosper. I think the best wishes and like, hey, may you be loved and da 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 da. In advertising, I honestly think that this is the best thing I could honestly wish all of you. May you be surrounded by doers, because that's actually the entourage, the team that you work in. Make sure you find people who want to do amazing things just as much as you want to do. So you don't go like Robin Hood stuff. Oh yeah, and the most important thing, work hard and be nice to people. Thank you very much.